Great. Agreed to meet a vampire at a cemetery. How much more cliché can you get?
Nothing comes readily to mind.
Could have left.
What of my privacy? I value it rather deeply. Unmolested, especially by unwanted guests, that's my preferred state. Besides, I knew you'd find a way to...
True enough. Need to find...
I shall do whatever's in my power. Yet what you want or even need must matter little. What matters is what Detlef wants.
Come on. Gotta be some way.
Vampires can evade detection by the senses, and no divination magic works on us. Even the most precise megoscope would be useless.
And this? Could this help?
Wherever did you get that?
Off one of the beast's victims, found by a bend in the river. Body was chopped in pieces. 3 of those pieces were hands. Hand with the ring seemed the odd one out. Abruxa had taken an interest in it.
It's Detlef's hand, without a...
The hand. What do you plan?
You've heard of Kovinaris' theory of tissue memory retention.
Rings a distant bell. Read about it in Alchemia Obliter, but if memory serves, Kovinaris never managed to prove it worked.
It's complicated, so without delving into details, it is possible to use any piece of tissue to...
How's it work?
We must brew a decoction which Kovinaris gave a rather poetic name. Resonance. This triggers visions of events linked to strong emotions experienced by the tissue's owner.
Any chance we might see what Detlef was doing just before he lost...
Indeed. Though I also hope resonance will reveal the location of Detlef's hut.
Ring's pretty intriguing. Made of no metal I've ever seen. And the ornamentation.
It comes from our home, where we lived before the conjunction of spheres. You might call him a humanist. He saw us vampires as guests.
Respect? Meaning not to treat us like...
Precisely. And the reason why I, in turn, gave it to Detlef.
Kovinaris spent half his life proving his theory. Wild guess. Making a dose of resin...
You guessed correctly. In addition to Detlef's tissue, we shall need a powerful
Well, got a few ingredients to choose from. Unfortunately, all are pretty rare.
Given that we lack the time to sleuth this out ourselves...
What was that?
A raven? Rather a common sight at this latitude. Very intelligent fowl. Perhaps they'll find one in the area, and I would hazard that a flock... It will take them some time, nonetheless.
Rarely say no to us.
Sadly, this is but a weak infusion.
Even better. I remember your mandrake hooch.
Now, what could Geralt have written?
Everyone's got some secret.
I agree wholeheartedly. I also believe it.
This your sophisticated way of asking?
I prefer almost always to ask indirectly.
Maybe you should go first. Reveal what...
Anything in particular interest you?
Got plenty of questions I'd like to ask.
Unable to focus your thoughts at the moment. I understand.
Still no sign of your winged friend.
Dead certain. Let's wait a bit longer. It'll be... Ever vigilant, even in his sleep. Quite vampire-like, in fact.
Appreciate the compliment.
You were right. No kobolds.
Knew it.
Allow me to finish. You see, there's this spotted white.
Impossible. My brethren hunted down every...
Then it seems you must revise your knowledge of spotted whites. For somehow this one It seems I know this home it haunts. Recall a tale about it. I don't recall much in particular. Really don't attach much importance to such things. It was meant...
Come on, search your memory.
I believe it had a relation to hunger, or... perhaps greed, rapacity. Someone was punished for something...
Textbook definition of a curse, pretty much.
Sorry, Geralt. I try not to clutter my mind with the details of it.
A specimen of a species thought long extinct. And a curse.
Ah, professional curiosity. Personally, I've nothing against you delving into this dilemma, but please remember we need the white's saliva. Nothing beyond that.
Whites rarely appear in the woods, even less likely to find them in abandoned human homes. They inhabit remote wildernesses, old abandoned cemeteries.
What's your point?
This might not be a spotted white after all. Your little helper might have made a mistake.
I sincerely doubt it. Ravens are devilish.
What exactly?
The area around the estate.
Spoon.
Spare me the skeptical smile. I'm but the bearer of this news. Or perhaps this spotted white is a hoarder. Or the spoons are somehow related to the curse. I don't...
Come on.
Sorry. What are your thoughts?
Ah, let's do this. Start making your decoction while I go get some saliva from that white. Uses it in its brews.
Do you imagine the white will simply sell you some?
Worst case scenario, I'll bring you its salivary glands. They ought to do as well.
For a moment there, I imagined you asking the white to spit in... Yes.
Don't.
We require one last ingredient. Alas, obtaining it could...
All right.
And to you...
Hoş geldin aşkım.
Go, go.
Oh! Whoa! Oh!
What will the morrow bring?
Biraz yan görev kasacağım.
How much for you?
We adhere to certain morals.
Şimdi kendi evime gidiyorum. Düşün bana verdiği ev.
Not so fast, Roach.
You smell?
Every day the same. Wine, and look like swirling wine.
Welcome home, sir. I am Barnabas Basil Fawlty. By order of the Duchess, I shall serve you as Major Domo of... I previously served with distinction at the Nibley family manor.
Whoa, Barnabas Basil. One thing you ought to know. I'm not your typical landed gent.
Oh, in that case, you must leave it all to me. I shall organize, see to everything, and whip the house in...
Great. Can already see I'm in good hands. Vineyard comes across as a place with a rich history. Know who owned it before me?
Baron Rossel, who went bankrupt, forcing him to sell the estate to the Duchess.
He was actually a headsman?
No, not him, but his great-grandfather. Indeed, he never hesitated, not once. Monsieur Bolius, on the other hand, was an engineer in his younger years. Once retired, sadly, misfortune struck and he lost his sense first of smell, then of taste. Additionally, he could not drink alcohol.
Shame that.
Not at all. He made even more of it.
Mind giving me a
Not in the least. Follow me. Behold, sir, your estate.
Pretty vast.
Indeed. And now, sir, allow me to show you a handful of interesting details. Follow me, please.
Been a major domo all your life?
Yes, I come from a long line of major domos. My father was a major domo, as was my grandfather before him, as was my great aunt. In fact, she was the one to start the tradition.
Great aunt?
A hard woman. It is said that already as a child, she knew where she was going and went there. When she arrived in Beauclair, she signed on as a chambermaid at one of the vineyards, then slowly worked her way up to Major Domo. She dragged the rest of the family up the same path.
Sesim geliyor mu?
I'd rather be an eagle than a
Şimdi nasıl geliyor?
If I only could, I truly would.
Women and chaps, the more
The servants' quarters. I occupy the green home. With the Duchess's permission, I have hired a full staff. Their salaries to be paid from the ducal treasury.
Nice of her.
Not the most sightly part of the estate. I
Şu an
admit,
sesim iyi geliyor
but
olması
I
lazım.
think it's worthwhile for you as master of the domain to know where the help stays.
If thy lips don't...
Of wine, my wife won't know their mind.
Bak şu an evimi gezdiriyor. Kahya. Yeni evim. Böyle
Baron
çiftlik.
Rossel ordered the vines in this part of the estate uprooted and olive groves planted in their place. They look beautiful, especially come spring.
Don't look at all bad now either.
Down below lies your
Görüntü kalitesi
where
nasıl
we grow
peki?
a strain of Carfanere, one of the world's oldest.
Görüntü kalitesi nasıl?
In oak barrels, it provides for an exquisite wine with distinct black. White cherry plum and cinnamon notes. Marvelous.
Have to try it one of these days.
Şimdi nasıl?
And that minstrel and our Duchess once, you know, wink wink.
Nice well. Picturesque.
Yes, though it ran dry long ago. During the raucous feasts Master Bolius held, he would order it filled with wine. There's a tale about a guest attending a Bolius ball for the first time and thus unaware of the custom. He had suffered great heartbreak.
Bak şu an kusursuz bağlantı diye yazıyor ama.
The festivities were coming to a close, and the well was nearly empty when the suicidal guest finally jumped. Instead of killing himself, he merely broke his legs. To numb the pain, he drank the wine.
Drank himself to death.
Not at all.
telefonun ayarlarından baksana bir kalitesi nerede.
Witnessed twin miracles. The water had been changed into wine, and he had survived. He retired to a monastery in the Dragon Mountains and began preaching the wisdoms of Lebioda.
A man who dare not down some red is a man whose wife's like to thump his head.
Aşkım kendi telefonumdan izliyorum. Görüntü gayet güzel ve net geliyor. Sen görüntü kalitesini ayarlaman lazım o telefondan.
Monsieur Boleus, his wife Nina, kept a garden here. A supremely lovely place it was.
Bit neglected now.
I agree. Yet nothing stands in the way of restoring it to its former glory. And once again, plant...
Oğlum 1080-60 FPS'te izleyeceksin. En iyi orası. Benim çıkış öyle.
Madame Nina planted diminutive, delicate flowers and herbs here. One might say their aroma still hangs in the air.
You're quite the romantic, Barnabas Basil.
Drops of water, and lo and behold, I see better.
Oyun nasıl? İyi mi? Güzel mi? Atmosferi falan.
A man who dare not down some red is a man whose wife's like
This served as an additional wine cellar in years of plentiful harvest.
Bit of work and it'll make a fine stable for Roach.
The cellars, voila. During Monsieur Bolis's time, wine was kept here, but Baron Rossel used it to store olive oil as well. I took the liberty of cleaning up the mess, which
I made while fighting the Bruxa. Thanks, Barnabas Basil. Appreciate it.
as you can see...
Ona daha var ya, bu oyunu herkes biliyor zaten. Ben bunu öyle deneme amaçlı açtım.
But one cannot deny it.
Başka bir oyun var, onu deneyebilirim.
True, though it could use a bit of subtle paint.
And welcome inside. On the left is the master bedroom.
Not a bad
At the... If that's, if...
I think I'll take... Thanks.
Bak şimdi şeye gideceğim. Bir tane aşık şövalye var. Bir tane kadına aşık. Ona hiç yüz vermiyor. Şimdi olayın perde arkasını inceleyeceğiz. Şu renkler falan çok güzel ya. Aha, geldik.
Your wound.
Şimdi kapatacağım zaten canlı yayını.
Healing splendidly, though I am to avoid.
Want me to stand in for you? Take on some trouble?
That could very well be the case. You see, There is a maiden.
Yayını kapatıyorum aşkım.
I suspect someone's come.
İzlediğin için teşekkür ederim.
Curse, perhaps.
Görüşürüz, tamam mı? Sana da iyi dersler, kolay gelsin.